Good evening. Last week, 5 students perished following a grisly road accident. This means that once schools reopen, there'll be empty desks and empty beds for those in boarding school. These students were not only schoolmates, but they were also friends. Tonight, we discuss trauma in children and focusing on dealing with loss. To you as a parent and a guardian, this is a conversation that is highly timely given the current circumstances. But first things first, on Sunday Express tonight, being the 23rd of April, here are the highlights. The unending mystery of Shakahola. Homicide detectives exhume 18 more bodies in Shakahola.
Tuko na housing fund ambayo tunataka kila Mkenya a contribute pesa kidogo, 3% of your income, 3% of your salary.
Affordable housing. Kenyans and employers to start contributing to housing fund. And new course record. Kelvin Kiptum wins London Marathon on debut. Good evening, this is Sunday Express and I am Regina. Manyara. A sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. The government says it may consider tighter regulation of places of worship in the wake of the discovery of unmarked graves in a forest in Shakahola in Kilifi County. The deceased are believed to have been adherents of the Good News International Church. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki says the discovery points to a clear abuse of the right to freedom of worship. Kindiki spoke even as 18 more bodies were exhumed by the forensic team on Sunday, bringing the total number of bodies so far retrieved in unmarked graves in Shakahola to 46.
Police and forensic experts are combing a section of the Shakahola forest for unmarked graves and survivors of the Good News International Church, a religious organization linked to the controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie. A majority of the bodies so far exhumed are children and women.
Wengi kati yao wanatolewa ni miili ya watoto. Hii ni pigo kubwa sana kwetu kama idara ya watoto ambao tuko kipaumbele kutetea haki za watoto wetu.
It is believed that there are still many more people in the forest and operations have been scaled up to extensively comb the area.
Watu bado ni wengi sana, zaidi ya 200 ambao bado wako hai. So ninaomba serikali ya county na serikali ya kitaifa ya kwamba iweze kuingilia kati kwa operation ya mambo ya ndege.
This operation was happening in an area spanning around 800 acres. And this is just a section of that area. So we need the police to come in. We need drones. We need surveillance, air surveillance, because there could be many more people in there who are at risk of dying.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki says more security officers have been deployed and the entire 800-acre forest sealed off and declared a scene of crime. So far, 46 bodies have been exhumed from unmarked graves in the forest and awaiting post-mortem. In 2020, KBC highlighted the story of a father who had been separated from his children after they traveled to Malindi to join Paul Mackenzie and his Good News International Church. The father, who was later reunited with his children, called for the investigations and prosecution of Paul Mackenzie, accusing him of brainwashing his followers with fundamental beliefs.
That is a story we are keenly focusing on, and we'll soon have a full detailed report. I'm just wondering, is it too much to hope that we do not discover other unmarked graves, linked to this particular seemingly cult-like church? We'll be keeping tabs on that. Now, President William Ruto has said the government will further strengthen the housing fund to help more Kenyans purchase affordable housing units. The president said as the government rolls out the affordable housing program, there must be a solid plan aimed at addressing the financing of low-income earners to consume the units.
President William Ruto says Kenyans will contribute 3% of their income and kickstart the journey towards owning a house modeled around the National Social Security Fund. Every employee who contributes 3%, the law will compel their employer to also contribute 3% to the housing kitty.
Tuko na housing fund ambayo tunataka kila Mkenya a contribute pesa kidogo. 3% of your income, 3% of your salary. Kama unapata shilingi 10,000, 3% ni shilingi 300 kila mwezi, uweke katika hiyo hazina. Pale mbele tutakusaidia vile utanunua nyumba. Kila mfanyikazi wa serikali ambaye atatoa sehemu ya mshahara yake 3% kwa mambo ya housing, na sisi kama serikali tutampatia 3% every month ya salary yake, so that we can create a fund that will assist the people of Kenya to acquire homes.
President Ruto says the government's plan of increasing members' contribution to the National Social Security Fund has helped the country increase its savings.
Mimi nimefurahi kwamba ile sheria ambayo ilikuwa inatulazimu ati tutoe kwa hazina ya NSSF shilingi 200, sasa tumebadilisha hiyo sheria, na kuanzia miezi miwili iliyopita sasa tunatoa 6% of everybody's salary, na employers wanatoa 6%. I want to tell you the good news. In just 2 months, we have doubled the amount of money that we are saving as a country.
He says the move will help the country manage its foreign debt by borrowing locally. The president says the government is also working with the county government of Nairobi to clean and make the city green.
Mambo ya greening ya Nairobi, akimaliza supplementary budget, mimi nitamuongezea pesa tuajiri vijana 10,000 Nairobi hii ambao watafanya kazi ya kupanda miti na greening on Nairobi city.
Leaders accompanying the president said the government has initiated systems that will revitalize the economy and put Kenyans to work.
For 3 years, Nairobi had no medicine in hospitals. Today, I would dare anybody, uende kwa hospitali yoyote ya county ya Nairobi, ukose dawa, uniambie. Tumenunua dawa ya 244 million that is in each and every facility, from the dispensary at the bottom mpaka Mama Lucy na hospitali zote katikati ya hiyo.
Let nobody try to distract the president's focus. Let him implement his program, work on resuscitating the economy, and let us not work on other people's emergencies.
Taifa letu la Kenya.
Meanwhile, President Ruto has asked the opposition to take advantage of the bipartisan committee to address issues of concern. The president says violent protests have not achieved anything but disrupt and destroy the livelihoods of Kenyans. Geshoki Washira, Sunday Express.
More than 2,000 people have been forced to flee flooding in Manyara after more than 12 hours of heavy rainfall. The floods have submerged homesteads, displacing tens of families in Manyara East, Manyara North and Manyara West. Displaced residents are calling for urgent intervention.
In less than a year, Manyara County has experienced 2 environmental extremes, severe drought and now flooding. Families are in desperate need of help after their houses were flooded with water. For 12 hours, there's been a heavy downpour, leaving homes flooded and some roads rendered impassable.
Njia yote ya maji imefungwa. Njia yote ya maji ambayo ilikuwa inaelekeza maji yote kwa mto imefungwa. Na kwa hivyo tunataka kwa haraka serikali ya county pamoja na ile ya national waje kwa haraka watoe hao watu wenye wamekaa kwa njia ya maji, na pia watengeneze ile njia mwafaka ya hii maji kupitia.
Manyara Governor Mohamed Adan Halif, while assessing the impact of the floods, urged area residents to exercise care while crossing flooded areas. The governor said the county government will immediately embark on the distribution of relief food to the affected families.
There will be a long-term effect on this in terms of the health animals that we have, because the few who have come out of the drought might again have a challenge when it comes to the vector diseases. We are on high alert. We just procured small consignment to deal with that.
Kipindi hiki kutakuwa na mvua ambayo itakuwa ni nyingi na itakuwa na ya upepo. Na tumeanza kuhamasisha wananchi ili waweze kuhamia katika nyanda za juu ili kuepusha mikasa yoyote ambayo inaweza ikawakumba.
On Saturday, some 50 households in Mombasa County were affected by flash floods following a heavy downpour being witnessed across the coastal strip. Heavy traffic snarl-ups were witnessed for the better part of Saturday across major roads leading into and out of the island and its environs as the county disaster team relentlessly responded to distress calls. Residents have been asked to brace themselves for more rain by the weatherman. Jacqueline Masharia for Sunday Express.
Pink water harvesting. Now, Mombasa County Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir maintains he will not engage in any political activity that compromises the development agenda of the coastal region. Alluding to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition-led anti-government protest, Nasir cautioned elected leaders in the county to pick political battles that promote the unity of the region and the nation.
Residents of Mombasa County thronged at the Treasury Square on Sunday morning to attend the annual Eid Baraza. Muslim clerics reiterated the message of peace and cohesion. Area leaders led by Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir used the occasion to address a myriad of issues affecting the county.
Mheshimiwa Abdul Swamad, Dongo Kundu yaja, free trade zone. Ikiwa vijana wetu hawana skills, tutapeleka kufanya kazi gani?
Bila pesa watu hawawezi kufanya kazi. Kwa hivyo serikali kuu iteremshe pesa chini ili county iweze kupata pesa iweze kufanya miradi yake.
We can either be a lamenting county or a county that wishes to move forward.
On the planned resumption of anti-government protests organized by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, Nasir opined that while everyone is at liberty to choose political affiliations, the choices and actions should not divide the coastal region.
Kulingana na matatizo yaliyo kwa taifa hili, ningeomba serikali ikae pamoja na upinzani, tukae tutatue matatizo ili kusije kuharibika kabisa.
Sisi kama watu wa pwani imefika ni wakati na sisi ni lazima tuweke kinara, tuweke kiongozi ambaye haogopi kitu.
Hakuna atakaye tu control ndani ya Mombasa kuwa tusifanye maandamano. Kila mtu ashapewa kipande chake, bathi yako ni hino, shedi yako ni hino, biashara yako ni hino. Bardan wa salama, sisi tuko pale pale. We are saying no kwa binafsishaji wa poti.
Tusiogope. Hatuna haja ya kuogopa mtu yoyote. Bandari ya Mombasa ni mali yetu na tuna sababu yote ya kulinda. Hamukusimama niwe gavana ambaye atakuwa ni mwenye kupiga kofi mgawanyiko wa watu wa Mombasa kwa sababu ya misala ya kisiasa. Tena musifikirie eti kila mmoja awe na huru wa kumfuata yule anayemtaka kisiasa, lakini tofauti za kisiasa zisiwe ambazo zitakuja kutudidimisha. Mheshimiwa Hassan Joho.
His predecessor Hassan Joho, who was also in attendance, declined to weigh in on the matter.
Sina haja ya kusema mingi leo. Wakati wangu utafika, nitasema na kitaeleweka.
The Eid Baraza commemorates conclusion of the holy month of Ramadan. Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
300 persons living with disability in different parts of the country are set to benefit from prosthetics to aid their mobility, courtesy of the Narayan Seva Sansthan, the Hindu Council of Kenya, and the Vishwa Umia Foundation. The organizations on Sunday conducted a free mega artificial limbs measurement in Parklands, Nairobi, where 300 beneficiaries officially embarked on their journey towards self-reliance.
Have you ever thought of how difficult it is for persons living with disabilities to make ends meet?
Judith Akinyi is among Kenya's population of 6 million people living with disabilities. Judith had her limb amputated in 2007 after developing a bone infection.
And it has made life easy because I managed to go to school, both primary, secondary school and university. And I also managed to do like everyday activities in life, which has been easier through the use of prosthesis or artificial limb. The difficulty that I normally encounter in life, maybe when it comes a time to change a prosthesis or maybe when it's broken down, they're very expensive. So changing a prosthesis has always become a challenge.
Scratches, wheelchair, kuna gloves, kuna socks, hiyo yote inabidi nitafute. Sasa hiyo njia ya kutafuta sina uwezo. Ndio ningeomba kama yawezekana watu waangazie watu kama sisi ili tuweze kusaidika.
Just like Judith, many disabled people in the country are forced to depend on others for survival. However, orthopedics say life doesn't need to be this way because people like Judith can be assisted to gain mobility and empowered to fend for themselves.
These services should be available at the community level. They should be available at the nearest hospital, a sub-county hospital, the county hospitals. They should be having the service. But unfortunately, in Kenya, these services are not accessible. And this really puts the burden on the patients. And that's why most of them, after amputation, once they are discharged from hospital, they go back home and they don't get the device. And they lead a desperate life because they can't afford it.
Today, 300 people have been selected to benefit from free prosthetics in a program spearheaded by the Narayan Seva Sansthan, the Hindu Council of Kenya, and Vishwa Umia.
And after 3 months, these same doctors, we will manufacture this artificial limb in India and they will come to fix it exactly same size. And after the fixing, we have the experience. These people can even walk, even they can do any work, whatever they want.
To find solutions for young people as well as elderly people throughout this country and to ensure that they make a positive impact on their lives within the context of providing these solutions.
We are trying to see how we can work together with the government to support these people in the long term. Not only fixing the limbs, but what's the long-term support to these people? We are looking at the broader aspect of supporting these people.
The donors are calling on the government to do more in creating a conducive environment for persons living with disability to thrive. They are also calling on well-wishers to chip in and support programs aimed at training doctors on corrective surgery and other medical interventions for persons living with disability. Arnold Feather for Sunday Express.
Now that is what we refer to as giving back to the community. We take a quick breather. Sunday Express will be right back.
Forgetting. Nini. Workers paid. Rent checked. Mlango locked. Visiting out of gas. Goza mzae silitoa jana long. Internet sorted. What is it? What am I forgetting? What?
Nini? Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Unaweza shinda hadi milioni 2
Kwenye M-Pesa, chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number, weka 757070. Account number, weka neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Lipa, kisha subiri draw. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Welcome to Take on Tech. This is the show that keeps you updated on everything you need to know about technology.
First of all, the women that are already in tech should be empowered.
I've actually studied electrical and electronics engineering, telecommunications option. So basically I'm in the tech sector.
The government should empower the girl child in a way that they should venture so much into ICT.
There's never a dull moment with us. Tune in every Monday from 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Ni kubwa, ni mingi, ni tamu, ni yako na ni moto.
Tumengojea sana show ya Kikenya ambayo inatuelewa na inatujali na pia inajumuika nasi katika magumu ya maisha. Guess what? We have it. The Lotto Moto Show! Uko na uwezo wa kujishindia hadi 2 million Kenyan shillings kupitia draw yetu popote unapotutazama. Na tuko na haja ya kusikia story na magumu unayoyapitia. Tutakuita kwenye show na tutarahisisha mahali. Nafasi za wageni watatu zipo katika kila show ambao wanajipatia fursa ya kujichagulia sanduku moja kati ya 12. Kila sanduku liko na zawadi kem na za kipekee. With lots of fun, lots of prizes and money. Lotto Moto, only on KBC.
Good evening, you're still watching Sunday Express. Now, a command center to coordinate the evacuation of international staff based in Sudan has been set up by the government. The Nairobi-based center will host a special inter-agency facilitation and emergency committee in Sudan to be coordinated by the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. At the same time, Kenya and the Canadian government are collaborating to evacuate citizens of both countries caught up in the Sudan crisis. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says there are about 3,000 Kenyans in Sudan.
On Twitter, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora says the move has been necessitated by the worsening situation in Sudan. Kenyans stranded in Sudan and in need of evacuation have been advised to get in touch with the Kenyan embassy in Khartoum or text or WhatsApp their names, passport numbers and location to the numbers +24 990 019 4854 or +254 114 757 002. Over the weekend, several countries began evacuating their citizens. On Saturday, a total of 150 diplomats and their families were evacuated. They were mostly citizens of Gulf countries as well as Egypt, Pakistan and Canada. On Sunday, American nationals and British diplomats and their families were airlifted. However, reports of collapsed internet connectivity have raised fears of disruption of the evacuation process for those trapped in Khartoum and the neighboring cities. The international pressure on military leaders to honor declared ceasefires to allow the passage of thousands of civilians fleeing and the much-needed aid continues. Humanitarian organizations are reporting a paralyzed healthcare system in Sudan. Dozens of hospitals were affected following days of unrelenting violence. Those in operation, especially around the capital city of Khartoum, are overwhelmed. Fighting started on 15th April. Since then, about 400 people have been killed and 3,500 wounded. For Sunday Express, I'm Zainab Said.
I'm sure that is the setting up of that particular evacuation center is a welcome relief to those trapped as well as their families. Now to the counties where youth have been challenged to invest in tree nurseries and sale of seedlings as a form of self-employment. This and more in our county news roundup.
We begin in Nairobi, where residents of Myland, an extension of Nairobi's Utawala estate, wants the government to close an illegal quarry in the area. The residents are lamenting that a 5 acres piece of land set aside for public utility has been invaded by outsiders, turned into a quarry, polluting the environment with noise and dust.
Watoto wana inhale hiyo vumbi, tunashinda hospitali na vile mnajua maisha iko juu. Saa hata hizo pesa za kushinda hospitali ndio hatuna. Naanza kumbuka kuna one of us aliyai kupasa away juu ya hii vumbi.
Meanwhile, Planet Plus, a non-governmental organization, led environment conservationists and Machakos County residents in planting over 5,000 indigenous tree seedlings around dams. The exercise was part of activities to mark Earth Day.
Ningependa mheshimiwa ajaribu kutafuta kufanya mbinu tuone ni wapi kulikuwa na misitu kitambo na tujaribu kurevive this forest.
Elsewhere, Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza has affirmed his administration's commitment to the development agenda of the county, despite insufficient funding from the national government.
And we have a right kwa kupata pesa from the national government. Na sisi kama governors tuko na mkutano kesho. We are going to make a resolution on the way forward. Kwa sababu there is no way tutapata maendeleo hapa in Kakamega County and all the 47 counties without money being disbursed on time.
And residents and medical entrepreneurs of Thika East Sub-County in Kiambu County are decrying the high cost of drugs, urging the county government to support local manufacturers.
Zapata hata revenue kulingana na mambo ya madawa kuliko kutoka nje na hatutakuwa na shortage.
Still in Kiambu County, the Kikuyu Council of Elders in central Kenya say it will partner with the government to address the rising cases of illicit brew consumption among the youth. The elders attributed the crisis to the importation of ethanol into the country by some unscrupulous traders.
Lakini hakuna familia inayotokana na msichana akiwa msichana mwingine au mwanaume akiwa mwana mwingine. Hata makanisa tunawaomba waeneze kusema jamii moja kuoana, kuoa jinsia moja ni vibaya.
Finally, a group allied to the Azimio la Umoja coalition has called for a transparent process in efforts to bring long-lasting political and economic reforms to the country.
Tumeshikilia msimamo sisi kama vijana wa MDD na vijeshi ya baba. Tunaambia wale ambao wanatutawala, manake hawataki kutuongoza, wanatawala, kwamba warudishe bei ya unga chini ikuje hadi shilingi 100 na hata ikawezekana iwe shilingi 70.
The group urged the government to expedite the process of lowering the prices of basic commodities. For Sunday Express, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Now from the counties, imagine you walk into a supermarket or the shop near you and your child picks a pack of puffed corn snacks. Have you ever wondered how this snack is done? Tonight on The Process, we focus on the process of making puffed corn snacks.
We are received at the Flying Snacks Company on Nairobi's Enterprise Road. Time to adorn the right safety gear. That done, we get to see the ingredients used to make puffed corn snacks.
It consists of very basic ingredients. Obviously the key ingredient is corn, the corn grit. It's also the spice and oil. Those are the main key ingredients in the manufacturing of corn puffs.
This is a magic flavor food chutney, which is a spice used.
The main successes of our story is that we source our ingredients 100% locally.
Corn grain, spice, and oil are the main ingredients in this process.
Step 1, the ingredients are mixed. They're first mixed in the mixer. Doesn't remove the moisture, but we do check the moisture of the product in order for it to be extruded when the product is being mixed.
Then the corn is extruded in the particular form and shape as desired.
So either we want cheese balls, either we want curls, either we want rings, either we want stars. We can adjust it in the bobbin, which is inside the extruder.
After the shape is formed, the corn is poured into the roaster.
It's roasted, so then we can get the desired crunchiness that our consumers love.
Next, it goes into the tumbler for oiling and coating. Finally, it is poured into the packaging machine.
And there's also nitrogen air, which is instilled into the product for it to stay fresh for a long period of time.
It is then laminated and sealed. The finished product is then transported to the market.
Snacks are an integral part of a child's life. Kenya's child population is estimated to be about 53%. That's children between the age of 0 to 14. We thought you should know the process that goes on behind creating some of the snacks that our children eat. Reporting from industrial area in Nairobi County, I'm Nisi Imano.
Well, there is Nisi having to sample the product there. Just took me back to some few hours ago, and actually that happens between every parent and guardian. And I always ask myself why the retailers have to have the sweets, the candy that is, plus other snacks right at the, pay point, the cashier, yeah? Because they know the parent or the guardian does not walk into a retail shop or supermarket, if you like, to actually buy snacks. So I think it's a marketing strategy. Thank you very much, Nisi, for that particular, piece in regard to what we buy for our children, though some of us still consume the snacks. Now we made news, Wahome, once again, in as much as matters of, marathons are concerned. But what I'm interested in, as a Manchester United fan, is, any update, Wahome?
Yes. I have some news for you. David De Gea has been doing the Lord's work for Manchester United. That's all I can summarize it as. Because Manchester United have played 120 minutes of a semi-final at the Wembley Stadium, ended 0-0, and they've won 7-6 on post-match penalties. That means that Brighton and Hove Albion missed one penalty. Out of the 7 they took, they missed one. Manchester United scored 7. So Regina is a happy lass tonight.
I'm so happy. And if I remember what happened over the weekend when it came to the Arsenal game, I'm like, it's a good week. It's been a good week.
And I'll tell you this. Now, the final at Wembley is going to be Manchester City versus Manchester United.
Oops.
Thank you.
But anyway, you look at it this way. Look at it this way. I'm trying to look at the glass half full.
Yes.
It will still be Manchester that will carry the day.
That's where everything is. So anyway, we're going to be taking a break, and when we come back, let's deal with the other stories from the day's sport. Mine as well, lead story about Kelvin Kiptum running the second fastest time in the men's marathon.
Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We'll let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine line on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened. Bah!
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Now, a very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Home and welcome back to Sunday Express Sport. Reigning Valencia Marathon champion Kelvin Kiptum and Olympic 5,000 meters and 10,000 meter champion Sifan Hassan are the winners of the London Marathon. Kiptum clocked 2 hours, 1 minute 27 seconds, which is a new course record and the second fastest time in history to win the race, while Sifan Hassan won the title on her marathon debut.
Defending champion Amos Kipruto, Kelvin Kiptum and Geoffrey Kamworor, Ethiopians Birhan Ulegese, world champion Tamirat Tola, and the fastest man in the park, Kenenisa Bekele, clocked the 10-kilometer mark in 29 minutes and 12 seconds. The pack of 9 athletes led by Kiptum went past 15 kilometers in 43.51 minutes and 20 kilometers in 58.31 minutes. Before they hit the halfway mark in 1 hour, 1 minute and 40 seconds, as Bekele started to fall away from the pack. Kiptum sprinted to cross the line in 2 hours, 1 minute and 27 seconds, narrowly missing Eliud Kipchoge's world record by 18 seconds. Two-time New York Marathon winner Geoffrey Kamworor and world champion Tamirat Tola completed the podium dash. In the women's category, Sifan Hassan emerged victorious on her marathon debut, clocking 2 hours, 18 minutes and 33 seconds, relegating Ethiopians Alemu Magetu and Olympic champion Peres Jepchirchir to second and third places respectively. World record holder Bridget Kosgei pulled out just 3 minutes after the start of the race. For Sunday Express, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Now moving on is that KCBFC came from behind to force a 2-2 draw against AFC Leopards in a closely contested FKF Premier League match played at the Kasarani Stadium. Peter Thiongo gave Leopards a lead in the 3rd minute before Victor Omune added the second on the stroke of a half-time. The Bunkers responded with two second-half goals from Cliff Oruko and Francis Kahiro. KCB currently occupy position 4 on the log with 49 points, while Leopards are placed 6th with 41 points. In another match played today, Kakamega Homeboys registered a 2-0 victory over Vihiga Bullets.
It was going to be very difficult for us to come back considering the opposition we are playing against. But I'm very happy that in the second half we really played well and we are almost snatching a victory in this game.
You see there are some crucial moments during a game. It's the beginning and the end. And the second half we concede after 3 minutes and we concede the draw 2 minutes before the end. But I repeat, I'm happy. That's why I didn't make any change.
Now, Josiah Kavol and Milka Chelangat won the boys and girls 1,500 meters on day 1 of the 20th edition of the Special Schools National Athletics Championships held at the Dagoretti High School. The championship will end on Tuesday with the winner securing a slot to represent Kenya in the East Africa Games set to be held in Rwanda later this year.
Sharon Natecho from Western Region and Milka Chelangat from Rift Valley Region emerged victorious in girls 400 meters category.
Nikiwa mshindi najisikia vyema. Nafanya mazoezi kila siku ili niwe tayari kwa kushinda.
In the 1500 meters girls visual impaired category, Milka Chelangat bagged 8 points while Josiah Kavol registered 15 points in the boys category.
Kenya tumeleta hapa tu
because I was just nilikuwa nafanya mazoezi na uoga haikuwa mingi. Sasa nilijiamini tu. Yenye hata hapa kuna wengine wakubwa yenye hata ukikimbia nao unaweza shuku huyo sasa ni mkubwa atakuwa namba 1 atakushinda, lakini ni bidii yako.
At the end of the day 1, Rift Valley region has an early lead of 37 points, with Nyanza region and Western region completing the top 3 with 27 and 10 points respectively.
Down from the grassroots, we are creating awareness through March Past when we are going to do these activities, talking to all stakeholders so that they can know that even children with disability are eligible and are supposed to enjoy just like any other child in these games and sports. We are exploiting talents and we are exploiting their potentials so that they can get their pathways in life.
The championship will be held on 25th April, with the winners securing a slot to represent Kenya in East Africa Games set to be held in Rwanda later this year. In a bid to improve sports activity for people living with disability in the country, they are encouraged to take up the challenge, more so to compete in different sports. Reporting for KBC from Dagoretti High School, I'm Kingori Mwangi.
Thank you, Kingori Mwangi, for that report. And now, Football Kenya Federation Nakuru County Branch has launched this season's Under-13 and Under-15 youth leagues. Meanwhile, Eldoret-based businessman Amos Butit emerged the overall winner of the second leg of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour held at the Eldoret Golf Club.
In line with FKF's commitment to identifying, nurturing and exposing talents, the Federation's branch unveiled the Youth League at Kihoto Grounds in Naivasha sub-county of Nakuru County, a league that will see the branch seek to identify new youthful talents in the game. FKF Nakuru branch chairman Francis Oliele noted that the Federation is committed to identifying new talents and nurturing them for the development of football in the country.
Youth football is the backbone of football in this county and in the entire country. So the greatest achievement is that we are now able to tap these talents at the earlier ages so that we can now expose them to maybe to the higher stages.
Meanwhile, Eldoret-based businessman Amos Butita made the overall winner of the second leg of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour held at the Eldoret Golf Club. Despite a heavy downpour that made it difficult to navigate the course, the handicap 18 golfer carried 40 Stableford points to beat 112 players. Anand Lakini, playing off handicap 5, carried 19 points in the first 9 and 20 points in the back 9 to clinch the overall men's winner award with 39 points. Caroline Koech was named the lady winner of the day, having carried 18 points in the first 9 and 20 points in the second 9 to take home the award with 38 points. In the junior category, handicap 19 golfer Emmanuel Mbatia managed to see off all his competitors to emerge victorious with 33 points.
Migori, may you go and win in Tarakaniti.
Lastly, Migori Governor Ochilo Ayaku has pledged to upgrade the county stadium to international standards in order to promote sporting activities. Speaking while flagging off the county's youth sports team to a 3-day inter-county sporting event at Tharakanithi, the governor said the county has young talents that need to be tapped.
Is a team that has been selected fairly and inclusively from all the 40 wards of Migori County. We expect this team to export to the national arena fairness and competitiveness.
Ayako said lack of sporting facilities have seen many young people migrate to other counties where their demands can be met with little or no stress.
Now moving on is that Strathmore Swords trounced Shakahola Scarlets 51-54 points in a game 1 of the Kenya Basketball Federation Women's League playoffs played at the Nyayo National Stadium Indoor Arena. In another match, Absa's men's basketball team defeated Coastal Kings 80-17.
Shakahola Scarlets dominated the first and second quarters, narrowly winning 13-6 and 9-8 respectively. Strathmore Swords came back fighting the third quarter, winning 20-11. The students went on to win the fourth quarter, 14-11 to bag a crucial victory.
We had team effort. The teamwork really worked. As a team, we won as a team. There's no win as I won. We won as Swords basketball team, Strathmore. We work as a team. We played offense, we ran the offense, and we executed their defense, which made us win the game.
The game was great. We had fun, but we were playing with a lot of pressure.
and then we missed a lot of free throws that has made us to lose the game. But on the next game, we'll correct on our free throws.
Denise Opondi was top scorer for Strathmore with 16 points, while Mary Adhiambo scored 14 points for Kayole Scarlets. In another match, Habsa men's basketball team defeated Coastal Kings 80-17, while Snipers beat Moi Airbase 89-72.
Now, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Brooklyn Nets 96-88 to complete a 4-0 series sweep in the NBA playoffs. The 4-0 series victory was Philadelphia's first playoff sweep since 1991. Missing star center Joel Embiid, the 76ers produced an impressive second-half performance to set up a meeting with either Boston Celtics or the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Sixers trailed by 11 points early in the third quarter, but an 18-4 run saw them take the lead, and they closed the game out in the fourth quarter, with DeAnthony Melton coming off the bench to produce 15 points. The 4-0 series victory was Philadelphia's first playoff sweep, like I mentioned again, since 1991. Well, and that wraps the sport for this week. And tomorrow you join Karen Kibet. And remember that Sports Tech's going to be brief tomorrow because we've got the pass out parade for the cadets at the Prison Staff Training College. But from me, Daniel Wahome, have a good evening. I'm handing you over to Regina Manyara, who's going to be doing an in-studio interview. And this is about trauma in children. Her guest is Jane Ngatia, who is a counseling psychologist. Have a good evening and be blessed.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Nafasi yako ya kuwa mdosi wako. Jiunge na washindi tufanye biashara. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet.
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
What am I forgetting? Nini, workers paid, rent checked, mlango locked, visiting notices, nguo mzae zilitoa jana long, internet sorted. What is it? What am I forgetting?
Nini, nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Unaweza shinda hadi milioni 2 kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number, weka 757070. Account number, weka neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Lipa, kisha subiri draw. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLP.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial *811 *963#.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial *811 *963# *811 *963#.
This is Sunday Express, and earlier we had mentioned that we're going to be having a candid conversation, and this we borrow heavily given the recent events. Just last week, 5 students perished in a grisly road accident. A school in Western has been closed indefinitely. The children are currently home on holiday. They are expected to go back to school in the next 1 or 2 weeks. There is a lot of anxiety, having lost schoolmates who are also friends. Teachers have also lost students. Parents have lost children. This level of anxiety. Tonight we talk about matters of trauma in children and how we can empower the children affected, their parents and teachers. Taking us through this conversation is none other than Jane Gatier, who is a counseling psychologist. Thank you very much for your time. Let's start off with that picture that we've painted. Both parties are anxious. Students are anxious. They have lost schoolmates. Some of them have survived in these road accidents. They have watched in agony as, you know, their fellow students are seeking medical attention. And now they're home. Parents have gone to identify bodies in hospital. They'll not be sending back their children to school because their children are dead. This is a situation.
First of all, this is a very sad situation. We must all agree. And when we talk about a child, we are also addressing family issues because the child belongs to the family. And it's important for us also to realize that a family runs as a unit. And when one element, so to speak, of the unit or the system, as it were, is not running, then it means that the entire engine could also fail. And so we are addressing a child in the context of the family. And in the family, we could be talking about parents, about guardians of the child, the caregivers, the friends of the child. And it can be very tragic when we lose children. And probably when we are talking about the child in this case, and we like talking about the child because the child should be seen as an individual who is unique. So we are not talking about the entire generation or population of children. We want to address that child who has been affected by this. So it's important also to remember that trauma, which should be caused by loss through death, is here with us. And the reality is, it will strike from time to time, unfortunately. We need to be able to equip ourselves. So I would like to speak to the parent who has a child in school, and particularly in high school. If they are below 18 years, we still define them as children. Now, that child who has been, lost, as we say, they have actually died, and that causes a state of grief. There could be siblings who are also affected by the same. So we need to look at the entire, unit, as it were.
Within the family unit. Yes. Now, let me interject there. Now, if you're looking at the family setup, you have brought up something very important, the fact that there is loss within the family unit. Let's start there before we go back to school. Their home, a brother or a sister is not at the table tonight.
True.
How does a parent address that? Because they have to take point. They're grieving, yes, but then how do they empower? They're dealing with their own grief, but also their children are dealing with grief. They've lost a brother and a sister. How do you go about it?
Very important there, Regina. So we say when there is grief in the family, it is important for the family to address it together. We have lost a member of the system. We need to express ourselves. And one effective way of dealing with the grief in the family, of loss of a child, sometimes it could even be loss of the parent, but we need to focus this time with this child, we need the family to address the issue. They need to talk to each other. They need to express their emotions. Because grief is an issue of emotions. It's not a disease per se. I mean, we don't need medication here. So we need them to talk and express themselves, say what they feel, and that is what we call talk therapy. Parents need to read in this kind of, program, so to call it. They need to take responsibility. Yes, they are grieving, and the truth is, they are just hit as much as maybe the siblings in the family.
Talk therapy.
Talk therapy is the word. They need to talk.
Then, Jane, there is this question of, yes, we have spoken, but then when do we seek counseling? Because I tend to think this is an opportunity now to also seek professional help. Would you recommend this?
Yes, I would. And that's a very important question, by the way, Regina. That they also involve, as they talk, the counseling psychologist comes in to help them to be able to move forward as opposed to getting stuck. It is very easy for a family to get stuck when they have lost a child. And obviously, it's good to remember that this parent has lost the future. Whenever a child dies in a home, it means the future has died for that family, and particularly for the parents. So it is important for the counseling psychologist to come in and help the family, even to talk about the impossible. What expectations did they have for this child? It's unfortunate that they died, sometimes in very unfortunate circumstances or very tragic. So what have you lost? What plans did you have? Now that we have a gap, how would you deal with that? If you knew that your child were to die, what would you have told them? That's the work of the counseling psychologist, and it's part of the healing process. It's part of even getting the details that this child actually has gone and will never come back again.
Now, Jane, looking at this situation, let's go back to what happened last week. These are children who perished after a Grizzly Road accident. These children have to go back to school. How, or rather, what advice would you give and recommendations therein to a parent who is looking at a situation where now the child is very worried and very anxious about traveling back to school? How should they go about it?
Yes, and that is also a very important observation. If as a parent, and obviously I'm speaking to parents who lost their children or who have lost their child, it is important for you to be able even to express and set it in your mind that actually people are taking, other parents are taking their children to school, but you are not. You don't need to pack anything. And this is where we say that you need support. You need social support from people who care. You need support from a professional. Let the professional come in, and especially as we get closer to opening of schools. Other children are packing. There could be other siblings. Maybe you are wondering, do I still need to send my child to school?
That's a good question.
The same school.
Yes, that's the same question. Now,
yes.
Around the same issue, Jane, this child has lost a friend, probably even a desk mate. How do we help that child overcome that grief?
Wow, what an important observation there. Yes, this child also needs to be helped. There is a chain of mourning here. The child also needs to be able to remember their friend who died by talking about them. Sometimes we even encourage that one can write something. Just write about your friend. Try even to address them. So this child who lost a friend also needs support. They actually need professional support. Parents, please don't lapse here. Your child needs support. You need support yourself. The entire family probably needs support. as much as each family has to take care of themselves. So let that child mourn, and no one should be stopped from mourning. Actually, teachers need also to be on the lookout. If there was a tragedy and some students died, unfortunately, teachers need also to encourage these children. They need to be on the lookout lest the child gets stuck in grief, because that is what would ground them and even affect the academics in the future. But let the child take what they can at a time.
At a time.
They don't have to be even brushed off. Sometimes children are told, oh, but they died and they were buried. What's the issue? Move on.
Life
That
is for the
not a
living.
good way. Yeah.
Life is for the living. Now, as we come to a close, is it then important for these learning institutions to actually seek professional counseling services?
Yes, unfortunately in Kenya, many schools have guidance and counseling offices, and they have counselors. We may not be able to, quantify here whether they are really professional counselors in grief matters or not. But it is important for the schools that have been affected, including even universities, because we have also lost university students. The case in Pwani University. So we need a lot of support. We need professional guidance. Actually, the entire school, all the students, pupils, they need to go through a kind of group guidance. They need also to express themselves. They need to be helped to move on, and move on progressively in a way that they are able to negotiate the entire grief process. Yeah.
So what I have learned tonight is that we need to embrace talk therapy, Madam Ngatia.
Sure.
We talk about it and let the tears flow.
True.
Okay.
Well, and the shouting to do. Where people shout, they throw themselves on the ground, let that happen if it hasn't happened.
If it hasn't happened. Yeah. It's part of the healing process.
It's part of the healing process. It's part of the mourning. And it helps quite a lot. Yeah.
We have been speaking to Jane Ngatia, who is a counseling psychologist, talking about dealing with loss in light of the recent turn of events there. Children have, died on their way back to home. We also lost Pwani University students there some days ago. And the question is, how do we fill that gap? Lesson learned tonight is that we need support as parents, as colleagues, as well as students who are dealing with loss. And it is okay to grieve. I'm Regina Manyara. You have been watching Sunday Express on KBC Channel 1. I wish you a great week ahead.